Okay. So, after knowing what a random variable is, ang susunod naman is what we call the discrete probability distribution or DPD. So, tandaan na ang random variable is a variable whose possible values can be determined by chance. So, pag sinabi natin determined by chance, that is by probability. Kaya may mababanggit tayong probability. And then, pag nalaman na natin lahat ng possible values, kasama yung kanyang probabilities, ililista natin siya lahat at tinatawag na siyang discrete probability distribution or DPD. So, discrete probability distribution is a listing of all possible values of a discrete random variable along with their corresponding probabilities. So, ililista natin lahat ng possible values, ililista din natin lahat ng probabilities for each value. So, it can be represented by tabular, graphical, or formula form. So, pag sinabi nating tabular, this is through rows and columns. So, ililista natin doon yung values and probabilities. Then, pag sinabi naman nating graphical, so ito naman ay through probability histogram. So ito yung graph na magre-represent ng DPD. Pag sinabi naman natin true formula, of course, true function. Tinatawag siyang probability mass function. Ganito yung illustration nitong tatlong representation. So yung una, ito ay table. So this is composed of rows and column. So sa first row, ang lahat ng values. Then second row yung lahat ng probabilities. Na pag sinabi naman nating histogram, ito yung itsura niya. So graph siya na may horizontal axis, merong vertical axis, at meron tayong rectangles to represent the probability. So sa ilalim or sa horizontal line, isusulat natin yung values. Sa vertical axis naman, isusulat natin yung probabilities. And then, kung ano yung probability, yun yung magdedetermine ng height ng bawat bar o rectangle sa graph. So, dapat siya dikit-dikit at yung value nasa center ng bar. Okay? So, ito naman yung tinatawag nating probability mass function. So, makikita nyo, siya ay true function f of x. And ang itsura niya is in the form of piecewise functions. Kasi meron tayong iba't ibang probability sa bawat value. Okay? So dadagdagan natin siya ng 0 otherwise sa bandang huli. So ito yung tatlong representation ng discrete probability distribution. So ito naman ang properties ng discrete probability distribution or DPD. So ibig sabihin, masasabi lang nating discrete probability distribution kung it satisfies true properties. So meron tayong dalawang properties dito. Yung una, the probability of each value is between 0 and 1 inclusive. So, ibig sabihin, sa pagitan lang dapat ng 0 and 1 yung probability. So, katulad ng example natin kanina, so, ang probability ay 0.2, 0.3. So, silang dalawa ay parehas nasa pagitan ng 0 and 1. So, that is the first property. So, yung pangalawang property naman is the sum of all probabilities must be 1. So, ibig sabihin, pag kinompute natin yung sum ng lahat ng probability, dapat siya ay exactly 1. So, katulad nung example ay yung pinakita ko kanina, table, so meron dong probability na 0.2, and then 0.3, then 0.3 again, then 0.2. So, masasabi natin siyang na-satisfy niya yung second property pag inad natin siya. So, pag inad natin yan, ang sagot dyan ay exactly 1.0. So, that is the second property. So, these are the the two properties that must be satisfied by a discrete probability distribution. Okay, so let's have examples of DPD. Example number 1. So consider the following table. So unang representation natin is table. So ito na yung binanggit ko kanina na ito ay discrete probability distribution kasi it satisfies the two properties. So yung unang property na satisfy niya, lahat ng probability ay less than 1 but greater than 0. Ibig sabihin, inclusive lang siya sa loob ng 0 and 1. So katulad nito, 0.2, 0.3, 0.3, and 0.2. So, mataas sa 0 pero walang lumampas sa 1. And then, it satisfies also the second property wherein the summation of all probabilities is equals to exactly 1 or must be equal to 1. So, therefore, example number 1 natin ay DPD or Discrete Probability Distribution. Another example is example number 2 about a spinner. Okay, so the given spinner is divided into 4 sections. Let X be the score. Where the arrow will stop, it is numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4 as shown below. So ito yung rolenta natin. Divided siya into 4 section, then bawat section may value. So isang 1, isang 2, isang 3, and isang 4. So bago natin masabing discrete probability distribution yan, dapat malaman muna natin yung kanilang probabilities o yung probability ng bawat value. So since each section has one distinct value, their probabilities are all 1 out of 4. So ibig sabihin, the probability of getting 1 is 1 out of 4. Okay? And the probability of getting 2 is also 1 out of 4. So isa lang ang 2 out of 4. Then the probability of getting 3 is also 1 because that is 1 out of 4. And then the probability of getting 4 as the value is also 1 kasi isa lang yung 4 sa ating spinner. So lahat sila ay 1 over 4 ang probabilities. Now, since meron na tayong values and probability, pwede natin siyang i-represent through table. Ayan. So ito na yung magiging table ng example number 2 natin. Meron tayong rows and columns. Ang first row rather ay values. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then ang second row naman is the probability ng bawat value. So alam natin na 1/4 lahat ang probability ng bawat value. Now, pakita natin kung it satisfies discrete probability distribution sa pamamagitan ng dalawang properties. As you can see, na-satisfy yung first probability kasi ang 1/4 ay mas mataas sa 0 but less than 1. So, inclusive lang siya sa loob ng 0 and 1. And then, it satisfies also the second property that the summation of all probabilities is exactly 1. So pag inad natin ang 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, that is 4 over 4 and that is exactly 1. So again, example number 2 is a discrete probability distribution. Now, let's have another spinner for example number 3, but this time it is divided into 8 sections. Still, let X be the score where the arrow will stop. It is still numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4 as shown below, pero hindi na equal yung distribution. Okay, so meron tayong dalawang 1, isang 2, dalawang 3, and tatlong 4. So again, bago tayo makapag-represent through table, dapat alamin muna natin yung probability ng bawat value. So ito na yung summary ng probabilities ng bawat value. So the probability of getting 1 is 2 out of 8 or 1/4 in lowest term. So, ibig sabihin, dalawa kasi yung 1 out of 8 parts or 8 section. Kaya 2/8 or pwedeng simplified 1/4. Now, the probability of getting 2 is 1 out of 8. Kasi makikita naman natin sa spinner na isa lang yung 2 out of 8 sections. Then yung probability of getting 3 is 2 out of 8 kasi meron tayong dalawang 3 out of 8 sections. So dahil 2/8, pwede siyang i-lowest term ng 1/4. So parehas sila ng probability ng 1. Okay? So last value is probability of getting 4. So ilan ba ang 4 natin? We have 1, 2, 3. So ibig sabihin 3 out of 8 section. Sa probability niyan ay 3 out of 8. Okay. Now, meron na tayong values and its corresponding probabilities. Pwede na natin siyang i-represent through table. So ito yung magiging table ng ating example number 3. Again, sa first row, sulat natin yung values. Then second row, isusulat natin yung kanilang probabilities. So 1, ang probability niya 1/4. Ang 2, ang probability niya is 1/8. 3, probability niya ay 1/4. And 4, ang probability niya ay 3 out of 8. So, the table shows discrete probability distribution or DPD because it satisfies the two properties. Again, yung unang property natin dapat lahat ng bawat probability ay greater than 0 but less than 1. So, ang 1/4 ay inclusive between 0 and 1, also 1/8, and also 3/8. So lahat sila ay inclusive lang sa loob ng 0 and 1. Then, the second property is that pag kinuha natin yung summation, lahat ng probabilities, so that is 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/4 uli plus 3/8, that is 8/8, and that is exactly 1. So, ibig sabihin, TPD or discrete probability distribution, itong example number 3. So, that is what a discrete probability distribution and the examples. So, sa susunod na video ay ipapakita ko naman sa inyo yung other representation ng DPD aside from table. So, meron pa tayong histogram at meron pa tayong probability mass function.